In South Africa, you will be hard-pressed to find any Afrikaner who did not have any family members who were involved in a farm attack or who were attacked on their farms, or at least know somebody who has family who had been attacked on their farms. It is, however, not that uncommon to find a person who had multiple occasions of farm attacks in their family, be it the same member being attacked twice, themselves being attacked twice, or different family members being attacked on different occasions. Today I'm with Mr. Pieter van Westhuizen, who is one such case. His father and his brother, who were with his uncle and his aunt, were attacked on two separate occasions more than a decade apart. In both these cases, it is very clear that there were no intent to steal, there were no intent to rob, there were only intent to torture and to kill. Good day, dear friends, this is Willem Petzer speaking. Be sure to subscribe for more content like this, which is, in this case, part of a documentary we are working on called Crimes Against Humanity, which focuses on the persecution of minorities and especially Afrikaners in South Africa. If you wish to receive regular updates on the work being done by the Willem Petzer Group, you can WhatsApp your name and surname to the number on the screen to receive our updates and to receive news on when this documentary will be released. You can also subscribe for a small monthly fee in order to support our channel, support the work that we are putting out, and help us growing and going.
We had two separate occasions that our families was attacked, decade apart. My dad in 2003, and then my brother and his wife and my uncle in 2017 in the old West Transvaal, they called it, Leeudoringstad. My dad's thing happened on, if I recall it correctly, it was a Wednesday afternoon, around 12 in the afternoon. My mom was in town, and my dad was at home alone. And they came into his yard, and then they attacked him while he was sitting outside in the garden. And they hit him with a water pipe, the English know 3/4 inch water pipe, on his head. He went down. My dad was at that stage around 72, 73 years old. And then when he tried to block the second shot, they hit that pipe into his hand. And he had a big dog, a bull dog that was tied up with a chain underneath the carport, and that dog broke loose, and they fled the scene and they jumped the fence and they were gone. My mom phoned me. I was working in Palabora at that time, and my mom phoned me around 1 o'clock that afternoon. When she got home, she found my dad lying in the garden, full of blood, passed out. And she picked him up, come to town, first to the police station. She phoned me on the way to town. She said, "Your dad was being attacked. I'm on my way to town." I left my place where I was working in Palabora at that same time. I came that afternoon here in Wombos just before 5 the afternoon, and my dad was still sitting in the police station here in town. They haven't sent out a vehicle to go search for them. They didn't caught them. Nothing happened to that case. From there, I took my dad to the hospital, helped him there, helped him to get stitches in his arm. He had 12 stitches in his hand, and I think 28 stitches on his head, where they hit him over his head like this. I went back that afternoon, and an hour after I got home on the farm, I caught up with that guys, where they were. I took the police out with my vehicle to the scene, because they didn't have a vehicle to go out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the problems we have when the farmers are attacked. Then nothing happened about it. We asked the police station for more than 2 years, is there any progress on the case? And the funny thing is, they didn't steal nothing. They didn't went in there to steal, because it's a very big place. They could have went into the yard from a different angle, get into the storerooms, get into their house, because the house was standing open. They could have stole everything they wanted to steal and get out without being noticed of them. But they didn't went there to steal. They went there for one reason and one reason only. And thank God, if it wasn't for that dog that my dad had, he would be dead that day. because they would have killed him. Then they would have waited there for my mother, because that's the next thing that would have happened, till she come home, because there was no vehicle there for them to fled in. So they would have waited for her to come home, and then she will have the second wave that would have happened. It took me about 4 to 5 years to get my dad back to where he was, to just be human again. It was so bad. For at least a year or two after that accident happened to my dad, the incident happened, if a traffic cop stops him at the road, he doesn't open his window. He just pressed the license card to the window. He didn't open his window. So like I said, the scars that I left on my father was bad. Luckily, before he passed away, he settled down, and I struggled with him for years to just get forgiveness for that. You know, my dad moved from that small holding to Pretoria. They stayed there for 4 or 5 years. Then he moved back here to a small holding he bought just here outside town. And it was always a stress for me if my phone rings 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning. And then the second time it happened in our family is in my brother. My mom passed away on the 30th of April 2017. And her funeral was on the Friday the 5th of May in Westhuizen. So we went to the funeral, and after the funeral, my brother said to me, "Stay over for the night." I said, "No, I'm not going to stay over. I'm going home." And my uncle and his wife stayed over at my brother's place in Westhuizen. He had a small holding there. And 12 o'clock at night, my uncle said he had a 9mm Beretta, was lying on the bedside table all his life. And then at evenings, he put his 9mm there. And my uncle said he woke up, and as he woke up, the man took his 9mm that was on the bedside table and pressed it against my uncle's head. And my uncle said, for the first time in 40 years, that 9mm misfire. That's God's hand in there. And my uncle could have grabbed it. My uncle was at that stage close to his 70s, or in his 70s already. And he could grab that. And he heard the struggle in the rest of the house. So there were 3 of them inside the house. 1 was still outside. So they attacked my brother and his wife inside their room. And they had 2 daughters. The one was at that stage, I don't know, I think the oldest one was around 10 years old, and the youngest was about 6 years old. And luckily the oldest daughter grabbed her sister and they climbed into a cupboard in the closet, and they closed it from the inside so nobody can get in. But my brother fight them and his wife fight them for, my uncle said they fought for, it feels like hours. They hit him with a panga. The other people noticed that, a machete. They cut off his toes on his 1 foot, 4 of his toes that they cut off. And in the fight, my brother get hold of his pistol, and he shot one dead in the house. The other one ran out and he wounded him, and he get a shot out on the 3rd one, and they were gone. They found the police. The police came there about half an hour later, take them to hospital, my brother. That dead one is still in the house. They found the kids inside the closet, take the kids out, and went to the hospital. This is around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. He was sitting at the hospital for about a half an hour to an hour before they helped him. And as soon as the doctor that was there, was a Cuban doctor, find out that my brother was the one who did the shooting inside the house, he refused to help him. So a white police lieutenant or adjutant came into the hospital, and he walked up to the doctor and he said to the doctor, "If you don't help that man now, I will arrest you." That's the only way my brother could have get medical attention to help. He got out there the morning around 7 out of hospital, back to the police station, do everything they have to do. And that case run dead, completely dead, because the one attacker that got away, I think the station commander of Westhuizen police station at that stage, it was his son. So that docket just disappeared.
And it was impossible not to find the perpetrators because they were in the same hospital. So everybody knew who it was.
That's right. The one that he wounded was in the same hospital as him. The one that was dead, and other 2 that ran away, because there was 4 of them. One stayed outside. When the shot starts running inside the house, he ran. And the 3rd one, when he saw his body fell down, he starts run as well. So The one that got away, one of the two that got away, like I said, is the station commander of Westhuizen Police Station's son. And that, like I said, that dog could just disappear. My uncle and my aunt that was in the house, they were old people as well. My uncle passed away last year, he had cancer. But for that two old people, my aunt said she helped him fight that one guy. Because there was three in the house. One went to their room, and the two old people fight that one. Two went to my brother's and my sister's room. Luckily, my sister can fight. She fight off the one, and he fight the other one, and the one stayed outside to keep guard on the outside. And in that fight, he luckily got hold of his firearm. If that firearm of my uncle didn't have a misfire, my uncle would be dead on that bed. Yes. And that's just God's grace. That's nothing else.
Were they able to reattach your brother's toes?
Yeah, they reattached the toes. One of them they couldn't reattach, but the other three they reattached them. He couldn't walk for weeks, and he's got a heart condition as well. So it was a difficult fight for him. He had a seizure about 2 years before that, so he wasn't not 100% right yet. He didn't have his balance yet back, and he didn't have his speech back yet completely. You know how it is when you have a seizure. So he had a problem, and it took him. That happened in 2017, and it took him 5 years to get everything right and get himself right. It was so bad on my brother, especially on his children, that my brother emigrated. He stays in America now. He's working on a farm in North Dakota. He's been there for 2 years, 3 years. He got a permanent job now. His wife and his daughters went over to America now in February, so he's permanently working in America. He said he will never in his life. He sold everything that he had here, and he had a lot of properties. He sold all his properties, everything, cars, everything, and he took this money and he went to America, and he said he'll stay there. He'd rather take the cold than the problems we have here. America
you don't
can't
want
take
to
us
go
all.
to America?
No, he can't take. I've been there for 3 years. I will not stay there. It's not for me. This is my country. This is my place. I bought property here. It's mine. I worked for it. I didn't inherit anything. I worked for it. I bought it with my own money. All right. So why must I go? Why must I leave it? Our forefathers' blood paid for this country. I came out of a era in South Africa that we still did military services. So your mindset is completely different. My wife always asks me, if we walk in the street, I see things she doesn't see. I always expect the unexpected. I never underestimate. It's just the way I am. And it picks up yourself, your how can I say, your knowledge of what you've been doing years ago when we were younger. It's coming back to you, and you get yourself up to a standard again to be visible and see what's going on around you. You don't relax anymore. And how can you live and you always worry? You come into my house now. You see how big is my walls around my house? 9 feet with 9 electric fences on top. Burglar bars all around. It's like Fort Knox. Wants to stay like that. Listen, if you want to steal something, you go in, quiet, you steal, you left. Nobody will even know. I break into your house, I will leave in the morning, and I will take your bed underneath you. You will not even know I was in the house. That's stealing. All right. 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock at night, they don't come into your house for a cup of tea. They come to murder. If they want to steal, they could have stolen anything, go out of the house and nobody would have known it. Why don't just steal and go? So they first rape and murder and slaughter, and then at they have time, then they steal. What makes us mad, and everybody, is the fact that, I don't wish something like this upon anyone I knew. That is, doesn't matter what your color or your skin, or you're black or you're white or you're Indian, doesn't matter. An attack like that scars everybody, your family, everybody. All right. My question is to our law enforcement. What will he do if something like that happened in his family? What will he expect from me as a policeman? What will I do if there's a white policeman at this police station and they said they shot somebody here in a rural area and they said, we don't go? How would they feel? How would they feel? That is my question. Always put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And how would you feel? And you know what? They talk about racism in South Africa. It's reverse racism. That's just all it is. I'm not a racist. There's a big difference between a guy that's racist and that's race orientated. You understand what I'm saying to you? I'm race orientated. All right. I don't want to be forced to do something I don't want to. Just like them, don't want to be forced to do something. And that's the only difference. We're getting forced to do things we don't want to do, and we don't get any help from the government or our police station to sort out this problem. The problem is not that the police is incompetent to do their job. They can do the job. When they hear on the radio or on a telephone call that it's white people that have been attacked, they just not go. Our biggest problem in South Africa is not the black people. We got a 5% problem in South Africa. Only 5% of the population is a problem. They strike. In 2020, we had that big, 2021, that big strike down in Natal. Now, Madadeni, our local community there, had about 3 million people in. There was about 1,000 people that strike and tried to burn down the town. Now you tell me, how can 1,000 people manipulate 3 million? It was not possible. It's not possible, but they do. That's our problem, that 5% that's doing the crime in our country. Not everybody do the crime.
Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to share this message so that people can hear the stories of the Afrikaners on the ground. Be sure to also follow us to see when this full documentary will be released. Goodbye and God bless.